All right. Am I crazy for thinking that this is going to be a mini shootout? Here's where I'm coming from. And again,
You want me to answer that now or wait for the inevitable sequelae?
Now.
Disagree.
Okay. Thanks for
two good defenses.
Thanks for your contribution.
Couple of I think tight offensive approaches.
Right,
I see a lot of punts in this game.
What if I ask you then? Why is the number 45? Please explain.
45 is a middle number. It's not a low number. But
you're suggesting it should be a low number based on what you said.
I'm suggesting 24-20 is going to be the ball game, which is 44, which goes under. I'm not saying it's going to be 19-12 again.
Yeah, I don't think that's that low scoring of a game.
It's low in terms of the over-under. The average score is 45.
You score 20 against the Niners, this fan base gets uncomfortable. Rams had 20 at the end until Sean McVegas jumped in with another 3.
Sean McVegas, I like that.
Yeah, come on, Sean, for crying out loud. But yeah, you score 20 against this team, we get uncomfortable. That's not the number we're looking for.
Okay.
We're looking for 13.
Of course, and it's nice to look for 13, but in reality, you haven't played a team as good as Dallas. And we can all hate on Dak or Yak or Gak or whatever Dallas Cowboy fan calls him who doesn't like the quarterback. They've got receivers that the Niners are yet to face in terms of their quality. They've got a rushing attack that caused the Niners problems last year in the divisional round. They were able to move the ball on the ground. The reason why Dallas didn't score more than 12 points last year was 2 Dak Prescott red zone failures. And I know they've been bad this year in the red zone, but I see this Dallas team able to move the ball like they did last year, possess it, and even if the Niners hold them late in drives, it's still a field goal.
Yeah, listen, when I say shootout, I say mini shootout. Because, like, for instance, I see you doubling Marge. She says, I don't see the shootout angle. I think Niners win 30-17. And I'm like, well, that's kind of a shootout.
That's over.
That's a mini shootout, at least with these defenses. I'm not saying the Niners-Saints game, the George Kittle 4th down, I'm not saying we're going to get that. Although that popped into my head when we think about, like, that was the Niners Super Bowl year. That was like a great defense, legitimately a great defense. And they showed up to New Orleans and nobody could stop anybody. Nobody. And it was like, what the hell's going on? These games do happen from time to time where the defenses that you think are really good struggle. And here's where I'm coming from on this one. There's a few things. A, the number seems out of whack to me, so lean into it. B, these two defenses in this moment are largely being talked about based on their reputation, more so than what we're seeing this year, in my opinion. I know they're both top 7 defenses this year, but Dallas's 3 good games came against Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, and Daniel Jones. They have not faced an effective offense yet, period. And when they faced one that was only mediocre, they torched them. Arizona moved up and down the field, had big chunk plays, moved the ball very well. 49er defense, let's call it what we see. It doesn't look as good right now. Now, maybe that's because they're doing bend, don't break. Maybe it's because these offensive coordinators have a really good plan to get the ball out of the hands of the quarterback. But let's be honest. It does not look as dominant as it has looked in years past, and I think there's a transition with a new DC, and I do think they're going to be great by the end of the year, but they're not there yet. Dallas is compromised with Diggs out. They don't guard the middle of the field well. The Niners will take advantage of that. The 49ers have some issues that are still in transition with their defensive backs, and Dallas has a really good receiving core, and I think they're going to move the ball some too. So I got the Niners in this game. Purdy 30 seems like a thing to me. So let's go 30-24. I think that's the final score of this football game. But so it's not going to be crazy, but I think that these two offenses are going to move the ball.
Over under a half a pick for Brock Purdy. Does he throw a pick? Does Brock Purdy throw an interception in an actual professional football game in 2023?
Well, yes, at some point. Yes.
Does it happen this week?
Well, he's already done it in 2023, January 1st.
Yeah.
That was his last pick.
Against Dallas.
Yeah, no, against the Raiders.
Oh, against the Raiders, that's right.
He didn't throw any picks in the playoffs.
That's right. He coughed it up against Philadelphia.
Against Philadelphia, he did have a play that didn't go well in that game.
No,
yes.
he coughed it up,
yeah,
literally.
He fumbled.
Yes.
Yeah, he fumbled. So
he held the ball too long.
You can absolutely make that case, yes.
And he coughed it up.
And his legacy was tarnished forever.
Cost the team a chance to go to the Super Bowl.
It was a super bummer. But anyway,
Super.
If you're going to force me into...
I'm not forcing you.
Well,
I just asked a question. You can dodge it if you want.
No, I'm not dodging it.
You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a question.
I didn't mean to make it sound like you're forcing me. If a person asks me...
I'm pretty heavy-handed as a partner.
You can be. Like put a number on what is the most likely number to be in the interception box for Brock Purdy this weekend. It is probably 1. That's probably what I would pick. Even though the guy does a great job of not throwing picks, I'm going to give Dallas the fact that they're the most ball-hawking defense in the NFL so far this year. They are very good. They are very aggressive. Yeah, maybe 1 happens. Maybe 1.
Okay.
I don't think 2. I definitely don't think 2.
You would say 0 before 2.
Yes.
That's
how I would handicap it if I was.
It would be 1, then 0, then 2 as the most likely interception totals for Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
And I think that's fair. And I look at Dallas defensively. They're 4th in the league in red zone scoring percentage, only allowing 33% of red zone scores. So that is another reason why I'm looking at this as a possible under. I think it's Jake Moody in a Mitch Wishnowsky game. I don't know if the Niners are going to have the same ability to go get their first possession and go 75 yards down the field like they have seemingly every game and set the tone and be up 7-0. This, to me, feels a little bit more of a black and blue game, more of a rock fight. Dallas gets you more uncomfortable than you've been based on their defensive line, their defensive front, which is nasty, and it's deep. And I know they're down their top corner, but I think that they make this game more uncomfortable for Brock Purdy and the offense than they've had all year long.
You might be right. Look, I fully admit what conventional wisdom says here. But I see some spots where both teams can move the ball. I see a number that in theory on paper looks higher than it should be based on what we've known this matchup to be.
The spread or the
over-under number.
45.
45. Last year they played to 31 total points.
Yeah.
And I get that, there were some things that you would suggest would go higher this time, but higher than 31 is like, 39, 40, 41, 45. Again, you're basically calling for 6 touchdowns in the game. That's what you're calling for. At least 5. It feels hot. That feels really hot for these two teams.
I'm just looking at all the totals in the NFL, and as we go through them, the ones that are below 45, significantly below 45. You've got Baltimore at Pittsburgh, which is 38.
And potentially a backup quarterback for the Steelers.
Exactly.
Yep.
And you're playing right into my point, and I'm glad you're playing along because Baltimore is a good defense. Pittsburgh's defense is really pretty good as well, and you got a backup quarterback. 39 points in New Orleans and New England. New England's probably going with a backup quarterback. Their starter stinks anyway.
Good defenses by both teams.
Is Derek Carr back for New Orleans? Or are we still?
I think you're okay with Carr.
Couple of good defenses in that one as well. And you got 41.5 Houston and Atlanta. Atlanta's quarterback play is almost non-existent. Houston's the one, and Guru loves Houston plus the 2 at Atlanta.
Oh.
And C.J. Stroud has been terrific.
I hate it.
You think the bubble's going to burst?
This is the one.
But I look at Atlanta. That total at 41.5, and I think that could be like a 17-16 kind of a ball game.
It could be. But this to me, this is Atlanta's game. This is the one. Like, their defense has been sneaky good. I know that they're coming back from London. That's not necessarily easy, but this is a game where maybe a little bit of shine comes off of C.J. Stroud for a moment.
Yeah.
This is going to be a beat-em-up game, and I think Atlanta will get it.
My point about the totals is all those lower totals, you either have really good defenses, really bad quarterbacking play, or both. And this Niner-Dallas game at 45, you've got one great quarterback, Brock Purdy, One should be great, and at times is great, Dak Prescott.
Well, they're both good. Yes, they're both good.
Two good offenses, but two also very good defenses, which is why it counterbalances to 45.
I guess, except for what's the old adage in the NFL, which is the great defense beats great offense. We've literally already seen it from these two exact same teams. I know there are a couple of new players here and there, but these two teams just played, whatever that was, 9-10 months ago. They played to 31 total points, and in the last couple of years, everyone would argue if you said which is the better side of the ball for both teams, everyone would say defense. And I think we've reached a spot where maybe that's not the case for the 49ers. I really don't even know. Maybe not for the Cowboys either, based on Diggs being out, their biggest injuries on that side. I just think that the offenses have caught up, and they're catching these defenses at a time where, again, I don't think anyone's getting a 40. But I think there's going to be a measure of success. By the way, tucked into this, it's perfect for Brock. Because I don't think he cares about this. I think he just wants to win. But if you want to shut up morning debate on national TV, he wants Dallas to score 24 so that he can score 31 and be like, what? Now? Because literally we just watched, what was ESPN's segment 10 minutes ago?
Yeah.
Is this the toughest matchup in the history of Brock Purdy? And if that's the perception, go out and score another 30, and what are they going to say then?
Yeah, I'm sure he'd rather win 30-0 than 30-24.
Sure.
But to your point, I'm sure he wouldn't mind winning a high-scoring game. He'd rather win 30-24 than he would 9-6. I mean, if he's going to win the game, he would rather go out there and put up a Brock 30 if he could.
But by the way, he's built for this. He's totally built for this. I know a lot of people, you're looking at this going, oh gosh, young quarterback, this Dallas defense, this is the toughest thing for him. Because of the way, and this is another ism, there's draftism, there's sizeism, and there's also, I think, lookism, which is I look at Brock Purdy and I go, hey, what college is he going to go to next year? Hey, son, you going on a college trip?
Are you sunning him right now?
That's what he looks like.
Yeah.
He's got his backpack, he's got his joggers on, and he's got his hands in his pocket, and he's walking to the car. But we know this because we've been watching and we've been listening to his teammates. The dude has a streak in him. You just can't see it. But you can in little moments, like when he runs for that first down in Pittsburgh and gets up with that little grin and gives you a first down. I bet Brock has never been so ready for a football game in his life, where he's like, oh, Sunday night football, the supposed next best defense in football, and everybody thinking that my 4-0 bubble's about to burst? Okay, let's play. I guarantee you that's what he's thinking right now.
Yeah, I wonder if he plays with that chip on his shoulder. He doesn't strike me as that guy. He strikes me as a guy who just wants to go out there and execute the game plan to the best of his ability. I'm sure he's heard the noise, though, and the various posts about where he ranks and all the national talking heads about the bubble bursting and the biggest tests and all the rest of that nonsense. But when it all comes down to it and he goes into the huddle for the first time, he's going to be the same Brock that he's always been, which is just, what's the play call? Here's the play call. What's the cadence? Give me the ball. Who's open? Let's go.
Yeah, although I think he has been that guy.
Yeah, he has.
But I think he has been that guy that's got a streak, a competitive streak, that moxie.
He hasn't showed it a lot, but I think you're right. It's in there.
I think it's in there, and I think he ad-libs really well. I think that he's shown that. It's not just Kyle told me to do this and now I will. I think that's the perception that he's
Robo-Brock.
Yeah, that he's breaking down. Real quick, how about Jonathan in the city? Hey, Jonathan, you're on with Willie and Dibby. What are you doing?
Hey, just picking up my kid from school. I'm just wondering, guys, like how before Brock Purdy, what was being said about Kyle Shanahan's offense? Oh, it's very complicated with all the words. It's very wordy. It takes a quarterback a few years for them to really get a grasp of the complicated scheme of the Kyle Shanahan. Well, then Brock Purdy happened, and all this weirdness of all the angles that are nonsensical, and just where all this coming from? All these things to discredit Brock Purdy. I don't get it, guys. I mean, why? How come we can't just give him credit for what he has done? Where he was drafted, that's irrelevant. Because guess what? He's here now, guys. He's the quarterback, and he's doing very good things. I'm not saying he's a great quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to be this. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's going to be that. But, guys, he's 14-0. I can't believe people keep calling their station, and they keep on coming up with stupid angles. What's going on? What's going on, Mark? What's going on, dude?
Well, yeah, Jonathan, thanks.
Thanks, brother.
Listen, it's a good point. The one he brings up at the beginning where he's like, wait a minute, I thought Kyle Shanahan's offense was so hard. It's complicated. People need to spend a year with the playbook. I thought that's what it was. Now suddenly someone comes in, masters it right away, and everyone's here to say, well, I mean, all you got to do.
Well, he did get 10 weeks of sitting there and listening and learning it. It's not like he walked off the street and like, oh, the cadence, I got it.
Absolutely. But the point is the sound of the talkers now is, well, all you got to do is snap the ball and huck it to Debo. He's standing right there. Piece of cake. It's not a piece of cake. It's not. It never has been.
And he's really good at the pre-snap traffic coppery of being the Niners quarterback, which is break the huddle, make sure everybody's in the right spot, pre-snap motion. This guy's going that way. He's going over there, setting everything, and then running the play. There is a lot to that.
I can't wait.
Me either.
Here we go Sunday night. Presented by Fremont Bank.
Me and the baby.
Full service banking. No compromises. You and the baby and me and the Rudolph. Yeah, that's what it's going to be like.
I have to call in. You guys take calls?
We don't.
Ah, come on.
Yeah, we would from you. You want to call in?
I would love to call in.
Call in with Mila. Absolutely.
Look, Gaga Goo Goo in the background.
Let's go. In the middle of the game.
Halftime.
I'm going to be. If you call in, you can host with Rudolph. I'm going to go watch a game.
Let's go to Dibs in the back.
Let's go to Dibs and let's stay there.